Hi, welcome to another lesson. Thanks for tuning in. As ever, if you find it useful, perhaps you could click on the like or the subscribe button. And perhaps more importantly, do leave me some comments because they're really very much appreciated. It does also in some way determine what I will do for future lessons. So I really appreciate any comments, questions, how I might improve things, all those kind of things. That's all really helpful. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to take a look at a Coldplay classic today. Coldplay, a bit of a good party song. There are kind of two, well, there are probably numerous ways of playing the song. I'm going to take a look at two different ways of playing the song. First off is pretty much like how it is on the record. And the second one is a bit more of a busky kind of version, yeah, so it kind of depends. If you're trying to sing this song as well as play it, then you may find that the original key doesn't suit you. So that's why I'm doing an additional version of the song in a different key. If you haven't seen my video on using a capo, you might like to watch that because it's very useful if you're trying to find out what key to sing a song in. Okay, so starting off, what we need to do for the original version of the song is to tune this bottom E string down to a D sharp. Okay, so that's a D sharp, it's no longer an E. So I'll just play that a couple of times for you so you can just tune that bottom string down. Okay, so that means that when you play the second string on the 4th fret, and the two bottom strings should sound the same like this. Yeah, so it's now tuned down to a D sharp. Okay, so starting on this, it's like a B major bar position. Hopefully you're familiar with that, okay? It's like an E major chord, like that, basically, moved up to the B position. So basically, that's the top string of the 7th fret, 3rd string 8th, and 4th and 5th strings on the 9th. Now the important thing to note here is that this first finger is not playing a bar, it is just playing the top string, okay? So we have these open strings at the bottom. Yeah, so it's, you get that, you know, so it's not a bar basically. Okay, now the intro starts out like, so what I'm doing there is I'm playing the position I've just explained, and then for the little change I'm dropping that little pinky finger down from the 4th string to the 3rd string, okay? So it's... Okay, and it's important that when you do drop it down, you don't play that open string like I just did, okay? So it should be more of a... of idea, okay? Now with the right hand, don't worry about the upstroke so much to start with. Just perhaps maybe just practice trying to play just downstroke, so you have this kind of thing. I've slowed it down obviously, so you want to get that real chug-a-chug type of rhythm going, yeah? Okay, now then, so that's the intro, yeah, dropping that little pinky down, so you got... Okay, so that's the intro, yeah. Then you have the verses, so it starts with the same chord there. And we're going to drop down to the F sharp. It does the same thing, we're not playing a bar, it's just the same chord moved to the 2nd fret. And then an E major, play it like that, starting with this 2nd finger rather than the traditional like that, because it makes the whole thing a lot easier. Okay, so really that that is the verses, yeah? The verses are just the B shape, the F sharp shape, and the E major shape, yeah? That's all there kind of is to the verses. So I'll play you a couple of verses or just give you a feel for what that's like, yeah? So we're starting in the B and it's... So they're just going round like that. You'll probably find that be a bit of a challenge to start with, actually, because it's so much easier to play like a bar shape, yeah? So it'll take a little bit of practice to just get that nice and clean. So it's practice just playing it on its own, perhaps. So you have it nice and clear like that, yeah? So again, one more time with that verse there. So it's... So there are your verses, that's all that's really happening there. You can hear the odd upstroke I'm doing now, but... Okay, so there are your verses, yeah? Now then, once it comes down to the chorus, it starts in E. Your skin. Then you have... It's like a G sharp minor, okay? So essentially it's the 3rd string of the 4th fret with your 1st finger there. And the 4th and 5th, they're on the 6th fret, okay? So you have... And I'm dampening this bass string so it's not sounding out. So you have... Yeah, and then you come down, it's like an E position again, it's just that E position, yeah, just moved up there, starting on the 3rd fret, yeah, so all in all, the 3 chords for your chorus are... Yeah, it's just that. So in context you've got... myself back into that. So really they are the parts, and that's kind of all you really need to know. There's just one exception, which is at the very end of the song. You've probably noticed that there's a little bit of a change. It goes from the B again, and it comes to a F sharp minor, okay? So that's just 3rd string 2nd fret, 4th and 5th strings on the 4th fret. And again, I'm dampening that. You could play it, you know, you could play that bass note or dampen it. It's entirely up to you. So that's really the only difference, yeah? Towards, as I say, right towards the end you got your B. That's the only difference, really, okay? So that in essence is the whole song in the key that it is on the record. So go away and have a listen to the record and play along with the record. You find it's a little bit quicker, but I've slowed it down a little bit just to give you an idea as to, you know, how it goes and just make it a little bit more understandable for you. So as I say, the chords are pretty simple. You just got to remember that this isn't a bar chord, it's just open. You got your intro, which is just along the lines of... F sharp, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so I hope that helps. If you're looking to kind of find the original, kind of how to play it, how they've played it on the record and stuff like that. Okay, so if that's proven a little bit tricky or it's a little bit difficult and you're just starting out and you just want to find perhaps a simpler way of playing the song, you can do that. And I'm played in G, and I better tune this up here. Okay, so we got this back as an E now. Yeah, so you got G. Now you should be familiar with the G chord. That's first string and sixth string on the third fret, and fifth string on the second fret. Yeah, so you got that. And this first finger is quite useful because what you can do is it's much easier than the original actually this way. You can just place that on and off the second string of the first fret to get that same feel as what we've just looked at on the intro of the original. So you have this. Okay, so this would be your intro, just G, and with that finger going on for the little change, yeah, so it's like. Okay, so that's your intro, yeah? So the chords that we're going to look at and we're going to use exclusively really for this now are G, D. Okay, so that's first and third string, second fret, and second string on the third fret, yeah, so that's your D. Remember, don't play the top two strings when you're playing a D, unless you're going to play an F sharp, but we won't get into that. It's just from the D here, okay, fourth string. And then this is kind of, it goes into this lovely C shape here, which is like fifth and sixth strings of the third fret, and that's the fourth string of the second fret, so you have this chord. Yeah, so if we put those three chords together, we've got D and the C. Yeah, so you got the stars, look how they shine for you, and all the things you do. They're all yellow. Yeah, so that's your kind of verses, as you can hear. G, D, you bend that to the C. Okay, verse. Look at the stars, how they shine for you. D, and all the things you do. It's like C major 7. They were all yellow. G. And then going into the chorus, you've got the C shape. G, D, C, G, D. You know I bleed myself dry. Okay, so that's a kind of simpler version of playing it if you're just looking to kind of get, started and you're a beginner or something like that. Okay, so just to recap on that, you got G chord with this first finger going on the second string of the first fret to play those little bits, on the intro where you got the. If you want, like I did earlier on, bend that towards the end just before you're going into the C. That kind of thing. That's your G. It's just round and round. Okay, so just to recap on that C shape thing there's just no first finger, and it's 4th string 2nd fret, and it's 5th and 6th on the 3rd. Okay, so they're your verses, and as I said, your choruses are start in that C position and are G, D, C shape, G, D, C, G, D, and your background to the verse again, yeah? So I hope that this has helped you in some small way